Hi, welcome to Off the Ranch. This episode is sponsored by our friends SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is incredibly reliable and effective home security. You order it online, it is shipped directly to your door, and then you install it in your own home in under an hour with just simple tools. Or just sticky tape. Most of it, you don't even need tools. They have devices and sensors to cover every window and door and room in your house. They have cameras. This is your home base. This is a smart door lock, a key fob where you can control it all easily.
SimpliSafe on.
Smoke detectors, use your window door sensors, motion detectors, glass break sensors, water detectors, freeze sensors. Panic button, what does that do? Oh my, video doorbell, just to name a few. It's a home security system, so of course if an intruder breaks a window, it's going to set off the alarm. It's going to call the authorities and let them know that there is a problem at your house. But when I first got the system a couple years ago, I had little kids. My youngest was 4 at the time. And I wanted to make sure they didn't go outside without me knowing. This alarm is set and then a door is opened. This thing says, something happens, and it gives you a little countdown, and then it sets off the alarm. And lets me know, Matt, your 4-year-old just got up out of bed and he went outside while you were asleep in your bed. That situation never actually happened, but as a parent, you worry about those things, and having SimpliSafe at my home made me sleep easy. It's super easy to connect all your devices and check that they work. For more information, visit simplisafe.com/offtheranch. We appreciate SimpliSafe for sponsoring this episode of the Fire Truck Build. Welcome to Off the Ranch. Today we're going to be messing with this fire truck because you guys are awesome, as you know, and you gave me some really good ideas with this. I got emails, I got tons of, there's a bird flying around. Don't poop on my fire, don't. I see you. I don't know if they can see you, but I can see you. We see you. Yeah, and if you poop on my fire truck, well, there's not really much I could do, but I won't be happy. So thank you for the comments. Some of the stuff you guys said was stuff I was already thinking. Some of it I hadn't even thought of. So I appreciate you guys, especially all the firefighters out there or the people who have worked at fire stations or seen these rigs who know more about them than I do. I appreciate all your comments telling me, hey, you know what would really benefit you? This. So basically, the general consensus is not bad. Not bad for my first attempt. We had a big tank. It's the right kind of tank. I mean, it's a good enough kind of tank. It goes to the right kind of hose, to the right kind of pump, and it does work. It would work to put out fires, and so I could leave it exactly how it is, but some helpful hints that you guys added, which I'm gonna try to figure out how to do. This is the hose that comes from the pump to my nozzle. Just peeing over here. And this is a good hose. It will work. The problem is it's 100 feet long and it kinks easy and it's in a big knotted mess right now. The consensus is keep this hose. It's good and I can use it in case I ever need to get further away from the truck. But keep this thing folded up in a certain way that you can like unfold it or unroll it really easily. I like that. Great idea. And instead we'll replace it with a rubber hose that won't kink and stays on a hose reel. And the cool thing about that is you can get a 100-foot long rubber hose and you can only unroll it 3 feet, and I could be standing up here on the top just watering with it, or I can roll it out 10 feet and I could be shooting water far away with my 10-foot hose, or if I'm like, man, I want to go further away, I can unroll that whole hose reel and have 100 feet of hose with my rubber hose. They also said this one was too big. This is a 1.5-inch hose. Everybody just kind of said get a 1-inch rubber hose. So my plan is to order a hose reel with a 1-inch, 100-foot long rubber hose. What are your thoughts on that? Another thing I mentioned is I wish I didn't have to climb up here to start my pump. Like it's right here. Like the pump starts at like 5 feet and goes up to like 6.5 feet. And so like to fill it with gasoline, to connect any of the hoses, to pull the pull starter, like it's really not really possible to do from the ground, so I have to climb up this truck every time I want to do it, which isn't a big deal, but I was like, I wish there was a way I could not do that. And I could get like a remote start engine, but those are just a lot more expensive. You got to make sure the batteries are good, and I decided to just go with my pull start engine. And then one of you guys had a great idea that I hadn't thought of. They said build a platform down here that I could set the the pump on, which is a good idea. The problem is if I backed into something, the first thing that would crush would be the pump. So then I was like, there's a lot of room under this truck. For instance, right in front of the back tire, there's all this room. You can see we have our diesel tank hanging down here. So all this space in between the tank and the mud flap and under these boxes is all fair game to put my pump. Watch this. Imagine this without the fan that's holding it up. Look how perfect that thing just tucks in there. Why did I not think of that? I'll tell you why, because it takes more effort than setting it on top of this and bolting it down. I'm gonna have to build some kind of bracket that hangs it, but this thing's already on a little cage frame, so I can literally just hang it from there, or I can get fancier and build something down here that goes to the bottom to where this would sit on a shelf, which is probably what I should do in the future. And the things you need to be able to reach on this are the on-off switch. Totally can reach that. The pull, which is, this is the perfect place for the pull. Pull it right out this way. And then I have throttle control here. I have my choke. I have my fuel cutoff here. Filling the gas tank might be tricky if this wasn't here. I can easily just keep a little funnel here where I can put a funnel in there, open up my gas tank, fill her up from right here. I even could remove this. This part is part of the frame supporting the bed. Can't remove those, but I could remove this door, but I might as well just leave it on there. It looks nice. So I can get to that. I can get to my air filter. Only problem is my pump is shooting straight at that frame, which I actually don't think is a big problem. These fittings come off. I put these on there, and so I think I could have elbows right away that go up and over. So if I had an elbow here, it would already be going up right here, would clear this big frame here. So that pump has an inlet and an outlet. The water in needs to come from this tank. So I started thinking, what if I turn this tank sideways? Problem is it brings way more weight up here, but I don't think we're overloading this truck. This truck seems fine, I think. I haven't actually filled the tank up all the way. What if we turned it sideways and that outlet could come out here, but then we have a bunch of piping going around. But I was thinking, what if that outlet on the tank went the other way and went that way? Okay, hear me out. This tank I'm pretty sure will fit sideways here. That outlet would be pointing out right here, right? So then it would just come out, go down. This panel is on the other side of where that thing is. So I could either cut holes in this because I don't use this thing anymore, or I could just go under and go around, and then there's a clear shot over the truck frame between the bed rail frames all the way over right above our pump. So I could just hard pipe it all the way over there. I think with some schedule 80, schedule 40 would probably work. That's not high pressure line. Well, the other one would be high pressure. I don't know where my high pressure line's gonna go. I'm not sure. I think first I need to see if this tank will turn sideways. I probably should fill it up too and turn it sideways and see how weighed down that is. It's probably fine. The only thing I don't love is the pipes coming out here, because if I ran into something, it would just rip my pipes off. I don't think I'm gonna run into anything. This thing driving through brush or something, like a tree could snag it. So I could just cut a hole in the deck here and have pipe going down into there. That's a possibility. Don't know what to do, but we're getting close. I love that pump placement. I don't know, I need to figure out where I want my hose reel too. Hose reel hanging off the back would probably be nice. I don't know, it could come up right through the floor too. Well, I guess that thing's, let's move that thing right now. Let's figure out where that thing's gonna go and if I can turn it sideways. I love it. Okay, so that hose easily makes it all the way around there. Eventually, if this is where I want to leave it, I'll hard pipe it all. But for now, I think this will work. I need to go get some elbows, a couple 2-inch elbows, so that that isn't directed straight at the frame. And then I need to probably try it out. That thing weighs 4,500 pounds when it's full. This bed is meant to carry 5,000 pounds. That's its payload capacity. And we're gonna be carrying less because I don't have 500 pounds worth of pumps and pipes and hoses and stuff, but it's all right there. And it probably should be more over the back axle, but I really like it right there. I think it looks cool, but also I can still use 75% of this bed for other things. I'm going to go find some elbows, go fill this thing up, see how it kind of looks when it's squatting down with the, 4,500 extra pounds there. I hope it works. I don't know if it's going to. The bed will be strong enough right there. I just don't know if all that weight over the front axle is good. It's probably not. Man, I already like this setup twice as much. I told you guys in the first video where I was outfitting this fire truck, it would probably go through multiple iterations. We are on to iteration 2 and I already like it like a million times more. It's gonna be so, I guess worst case, I could leave the pump there and just scoot the tank up over this back axle and I still have all that room. I just really like how it's nice and clean, like right there. I don't have to get in here to change it anytime I want to change hoses or change if I'm doing suction or pumping, like anything like that. I can have that all piped to somewhere else. It's convenient. I can have those outlets right here, so I just come plug in, or I can have it piped all the way to a hose reel right here. So I can literally do everything from the ground, which is so good. I walk over here, I'll turn my valve on so that there is water in the system. The pump is below the tank now, so gravity will feed water into the pump, priming the pump, which it already kind of did because the pump was right here and the tank should have water higher than it. But now it's always, if there's water in the tank, it will flow downhill and self-prime this thing. Plus, it'll have a little pressure on it because this thing is 2 or 3 feet below the lowest level of the tank. So it'll help this thing work more efficiently. And then we'll pump pressure to wherever I want it to pump pressure to. And I can start everything from here too, everything on the ground. Flip, 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 pull, good to go. I don't have to climb a 5-foot ladder. This is a big deal. Okay, let me show you what we got. So they didn't have Schedule 80s stuff in the sizes I needed. So I got the Schedule 40 PVC pipe, which I looked it up online. It can hold like 400 and something PSI. For the high side, the non-pressurized side, no problem. I think that's even good for the other side. I don't know, but I figured if it explodes, then it explodes and I'll get something better. But for now, we're doing regular PVC. I can also always make it out of metal. I got some pipe glue. I got some fittings and some tape. And then I saw these. Look what the heck is that, man? Dude, it's like 2 cans put together. I didn't even need any paint, but I just thought, I'm buying that because this is freaking awesome. Just kidding, I actually needed paint, but I did buy it because it's freaking awesome. I'm gonna use those things to paint this. This is where they had their tank when it was a fire truck. So they put a big tank on here and then they painted the whole fire truck and they didn't move the tank to do it. So that's the original tan paint that the whole truck was originally, with rust coming through. So you wanna make sure when you paint anything, you wanna, first of all, strip it down to get all the rust. You want to get all the rust down to bare, clean metal that is not rusty. And then you want to also just strip all the oil and grease off, all the dirt, so you have a nice, clean surface for your paint to adhere to.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Dang, that's the coolest thing I've seen all day. Look at that nozzle. It sprays it in a huge fan. That one can, which is about twice the size of a normal spray paint can, totally covered the bed. It's still wet and it's glossy, and it kind of looks a little less glossy than this because that's been worn. This was all painted in gloss paint as well. Probably a better paint job than what I just did, but it's gonna probably be walked on and scratched up, and I'm not worried about what the bottom of that flatbed looks like, but it looks a bazillion times better now. Onto this. Okay, so I need to take this off and replace those 2 things with elbows. That's the plan. Should be easy. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this is not an elbow. They didn't have any elbows that were threaded, so I got this, which is a T, and I got a cap to put on one side. So it might be good to have a T anyway, because this would be on the fill line here, and then you'll be able to drain it. It'd be nice to have it drained down there in case the freeze was coming. You just open up a valve and drain whatever, all the lines or anything from the tank. So take that off, put that here, and I do have an elbow that will fit this. This is a 1.5, that is a 2. came up with. So my plan was, this thing was coming out this way and I was going to tee off just like I was teeing off, well, I was going to elbow off just like I was going to do down there. But then I realized these 4 bolts come out and you can just turn this head any direction you want. So I just turned this one. So it's exactly the same, just now it's turned 90 degrees from where it was. This one I put the T in and I left enough pipe here. This is just a cap. Texas, I don't know if you know, but like a month and a half ago, Texas froze over and busted all the pipes in Texas. And it is still slim pickings here. So I was like piecing together things that would work, but I got it. I mean, they didn't have an elbow, so they had a T, made it work, capped it off, and I left this long enough in case I want to do 2 things. Either just put a valve on there for dumping, or I actually think I could probably dump from right here, actually. That's probably what that thing's for. Or I could put a valve on there that I could hook another suction hose to in the case of sucking water out of like a lake or something. Like I could have the suction pulling from here and the end of the suction hose, I'm pointing right there, there's a lake right there, and it sucks it up in here, pumps it up here, flip it around into my tank to fill my tank. It's a possibility. Don't have to worry about that now. Right now, it's just a blind-ended pipe. It is capped off, so this is the only one we'll be using. So the tank will flow down into here with our green hose that'll cam lock into that, pumping there. I think it's gonna work. I'm going to rig it right now. Like it is, I'm not gonna build like a whole thing because I'm not 100% sure that I'm gonna love where this thing is. So I'm just gonna go rig it and hang it with some duct tape and baling wire probably in place and see if I like it there. You thought I was joking? That ain't going nowhere. All right, our pump is permanently super well hooked up to the truck now. Basically professional. That's what I am. So you can actually probably fill that tank here. It's lower than what I probably would mount it. It doesn't really need to be any higher though because the diesel tank is lower than my pump, so I think we're good. Okay, I need to go back up under here and hook in. Oh, this is gonna be a 2-hand job. I gotta hook in this cam lock. All right, definitely need some elbow in here eventually, but it'll work for now. All right, that is hooked in there. I think we're ready to freaking try it out. I'm gonna actually take this thing to the ranch because that's where it's gonna stay, that's where it's gonna live. So I'll take it to the ranch, fill it up with rainwater because we have a 1,000 gallon tank behind the Demo HQ, which is always full because we don't live there at the Demo HQ, so we don't use a ton of water. We just use it for washing the motorcycles, washing our hands, that kind of thing. Sometimes spraying mayonnaise off my body. That one's a long story. But we have that tank, it's always full, and so my plan is to keep this tank always full as well off the rain tank. So there's probably 1,000 gallons in it right now. I'm assuming it's totally full because it rained a few days ago. And so I'll fill this thing up, dropping it down to 500 gallons in that main tank. And then the next time it rains, it'll fill it right back up. And we will have that tank, 500 gallons, plus 1,000 other gallons sitting there next to the range at the ready in case, you know, we play with napalm or something. Not saying that would happen, Meredith. It's just a possibility. It's not even possible. That was a joke. Home sweet home, fire truck. This is what you'll be protecting. This is the reason we have you here. We want you to keep these trees safe from fire because it's pretty thick. Right now it's, you know, springtime. All the leaves are brand new. We've been getting a lot of rain, so everything's super green. This kind of stuff won't burn, but come fall or a really hot drought in the summer, a lot more dead stuff, and it's so thick that fire would just spread through all of this. The whole reason we have a fire truck. And because it's totally awesome. There's my tank, 1,000 gallons, and that means it is completely full, totally topped off, full of water. So I'll hook up this hose. It has a little pump in the bottom of that. So I'll hook up this hose, fill that thing. Now in the future, what will be much faster is using this pump to fill that because I could fill it through a 1.5 inch pipe instead of this like 3/4 inch pipe. But for now, I don't have all that ready to go. So for now, we're just gonna see how long it takes this thing to fill up 500 gallons. Hose is on. It's 4:20 and the date is also 4:20, which means nothing to me, guys. So we're just gonna fill a tank. I just found it humorous. So we'll see how long it takes for this thing to be full, and then we'll see how overloaded it is when all the way. Okay, that's actually pretty centered between the wheels. So the weight of the tank is centered between those two wheels. The problem is there's a lot more weight there. The whole engine is over that axle. So that's what I'm worried about. I'm gonna fill it all the way up and then we'll see. Be back in hopefully 10 minutes. Hello. It has been 10 minutes and you can see where the water level is in there. And you might be thinking that looks about 20% full, but it's not because the bottom is angled. The middle is the widest part. So like it's gonna slowly fill the middle part. So the bottom's gonna look like it fills up faster on the outside line and then it's gonna slow down in the middle and it'll speed up at the very top. We are less than 20% full and it's been 10 minutes. 4:30. For ease of calculations, let's assume that that thing is 20% full and it took 10 minutes. That means it takes 50 minutes to fill this thing with a water hose. But in reality, probably more. We're not 20% full, so it takes an hour. 1 hour to fill this freaking tank up with a water hose. Okay, so that tells us clearly that the water hose is not gonna be our method of filling because I want to be able to fill this thing up quickly in case there's like a fire going and we dump 500 gallons and we need more. I don't wanna have to wait for an hour for this thing to fill up. So we'll have to figure out a different method, which is easy. I just need some more pipes and stuff and we can plumb off of that and have a hose that goes straight into the top of this tank, I think. And then actually, probably just would not fill up here. We can use this thing to fill it up when there's not a fire and we have an hour that we're hanging out, doing work in the HQ or shooting a video. We can just have this thing filling. There are 2 wells on this property. One way over there on the lower part and then one way up at the big house on the hill. We have a well as well. And we could plumb something so we can hook up fast. We probably could plumb that here too, but it's probably 20% now and it's been 12 minutes. I don't have an hour. It's 4:30. Lincoln has boxing practice at 5:30 today. We may not fill it all the way up. I'll fill it halfway up. I'll drive it around and do some testing and see how it feels with 250 gallons and then I'll do some further testing later. 450. Oh my gosh, seriously, come on, man. What the heck? All right, we're gonna go ahead and do it now because I gotta go. Let's drive it, see how it drives. Change of plans. Meredith just called me and said that I forgot I had something else I have to do today too. So I'm gonna just wait on this. We're gonna have to come back out here tonight and do it. That's fine. Hey, fill yourself up. I might as well just leave that thing running and I'll be back in 5 hours and it'll maybe be full by then. Stupid truck. All right. Be back in 5 hours. Hello, 5 hours later. It's not dark, but it's getting there. This thing, I didn't leave it running the whole time. I turned it off and then I came back and I did a little bit more work out here. Let it run for like another 30 minutes. And so we have over half the tank full. So it is around, I don't know, maybe 275, something like that. 250 would be half. So I'm gonna say it's 275. Wait, no, it's a 550 tank. 250 be 275 be. It's a lot. It's got a lot of gallons all in there. 550, 500, 400. There's our 300 mark. So we're above that. So about 320 gallons ish. Look at this. Little Jeep people be like, I got a snorkel on my Jeep. You ain't got a snorkel, I got a snorkel. So my plan is to drive around and see if I can tell a difference having 320 pounds on the truck. I wanna kinda turn, I wanna stop and start and see if there's a difference. I said 320 pounds, I meant 320 gallons, which is like between 2,500 and 3,000 pounds. Pretty sure. Oh, hey, good looking. Oh, look at that tank on the back. All right, here we go. I can't feel it at all. And that's great. I'm going a little faster. So one thing you guys kind of warned me about was needing baffles in the tank, which I do think I should get. Baffles keep the water from sloshing and knocking you over or just making your ride a little rougher. Having that water bouncing back and forth in the tank or side to side in the tank. I can't feel it right now and I'm going on a really bumpy road. Let's hit the brakes. Seems good. I mean, that water's sloshing around back there. I can feel it moving the truck a hair, but This truck weighs like 18,000 pounds. So that like extra 2,000 pounds of water is not doing a whole lot. Going up a hill now, which I am a little worried. I don't have that thing really hooked down super well. I'm worried the tank will just like jump off the back and rip all my piping. That would be bad. This hill is tricky with an empty truck. I'm also totally gonna lose that hose on stuff. That's fine. Okay, it's climbing the hill super easily. Okay, I do see one little problem. The tank is not where I left it. It's, yep, going up that hill is a little more than I thought. It didn't flip over, which is good. It just definitely moved about 3 or 4 feet back. My straps, apparently not doing anything. All right, I'm just gonna go back down the hill and see if it resets itself. That could work. Wow, that just scooted all the way up to the front. I haven't even started going down the hill. I just hit the brakes. Okay, Matt, you need to hook the tank down. Noted, I'm gonna go really slow down this hill now, and hopefully I don't come back on and say I lost the tank. I think it's up against the corner now, so I think it's probably good. Oh my gosh, this hill's steep. Oh, okay. Whoa, feel the truck leaning. 550 gallons might be too much for a hill like this. Looking good. I turned the lights on because there is a fire that we need to put out. I actually just want to see how long it takes to drain 320 gallons out of this thing with this pump on full tilt. This super well-mounted pump running at full speed. Let's see what we can do. I mean, not gonna brag and say like I put it in the perfect spot, but there was actually already a light mounted down here, so I can see everything. Okay, so to turn on this system, I don't need to get on the back of this truck. Nope, not at all. I'm gonna turn the truck off because it's very loud. Okay, geez, the air brake's also very loud. What was I doing? Oh yeah, turning it on. I don't need to climb it, especially when the whole tank shifts over this way. It's really easy to grab. That's on. Hear water flowing, see water leaking. That's a good job, Matt, way to go. Bubbles are going up there. Okay, so there should be water to this pump now, and I probably can check that by opening this, make sure it's primed. Yep, air's coming out, water should come out in a second, right now. Okay, pump is fully primed, so that line is full of water. So now, flip this to on, and then that's on, choke's on. One pull, choke's off, whoop, that way. Perfect, this should fill up, it's a little kinked right now. Now we spray water. You can't see this, watch, it's 8:30 right now. We're out of water. That took 37 minutes. No, sorry. I'm too excited after playing with the fire hose. That took 7 minutes to drain that, which means if it was full, we probably got about 10 minutes. But it put out so much water, like probably like 320 gallons of water. It was a lot. If I can't put out a fire with that amount of water that's coming out, then I started too big of a fire. But here's the deal, this hose is the worst. It was just kinking all over the place. Like I was having to like backtrack it and go try to fix all the kinks so I could get full flow there. It was kinking right where it was coming out of this. So like even when it was pumping, that was kinked, that's kinked. That's no good. Everybody said Matt, get a 1-inch hose. So my hose is too big, what can I say? But I probably should get a rubber hose, 1 inch, on a hose reel. I think I like it here, the tank. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? Once again, what am I missing? Same as before. I know that there's probably something I could be doing better on this. This is iteration 2. There will be more. I'm learning, I'm figuring out as I go. Just realized that my little gas motor is really close to my like plastic diesel tank. So I either need to scoot it over or just put a heat shield in between those two so that thing doesn't explode into my diesel tank, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it wouldn't be ideal. A lot of you guys said that people make custom tanks that are low profile, because when I was coming down the hill, I could really tell I had all that water high. They make little flat tanks, like custom tanks that are like low. So it'd be like a foot high, but longer on that thing. That might be a good thing to do down the road. But for now, that's easier. So I'm going with that for now, and I just won't do any big inclines or anything. I like it there. I couldn't tell any difference with the 320 gallons on the back right there. 550 maybe. We'll try it. Let me know though, Demolitia, you guys who are firefighters, you guys who have built brush trucks before for your ranch or for your volunteer fire department, let me know what you guys did, because I would rather learn from your mistakes than from mine. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Off the Ranch. I love you, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, what camera is that? Number...
Shut up! Don't tell Mayor.